Hello and thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how to replace a broken gear on this starter. I showed the broken gear in the previous video on why the mower wouldn't start. Before we get into this, I want to point out a few things. When you're replacing the starter gear, if there was a plastic one on the starter, replace it with a plastic one. If it was metal, replace it with metal. Also, you want to count the teeth. This one had 16 teeth on it, so I made sure I got a gear with 16 teeth. If you can no longer find your gear, or if it's in pieces, if you go to the valve cover on your engine and look at the model number, the serial number, you can look up the gear that way. Regardless of the engine that you have, these starters are all the same. This one happens to have a C-clip, which is going to be a little difficult to get out because of the rust. There is another version of this where there's a pin that goes through it. This one doesn't have the pin, it has a C-clip. There is a tool to remove this clip. Whether or not it pays for a one-time repair, that's up to you. Before I get started, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to use a brush and probably some carburetor cleaner or something in there to try to clean up this rust to get that out. Also, 2 bolts that hold this onto the engine require a 1/2-inch socket. On this particular starter, I was able to get the socket on one side, but I couldn't fit it in on the other side. In that case, I had to use this Torx screwdriver, and this is a T30. So if you have this particular starter and a snapper rider with a Briggs Stratton engine on it like I have, you're going to have to use the screwdriver. Now to get started, I'm going to go off camera to clean this up. I'll be scrubbing it down, oiling it up. I'll be back when it's time to remove this. I finished cleaning this up off camera. This piece up here was rusted solid. I couldn't move it at all. So after brushing it down, I put a couple of drops of oil on there, tried to move it, it wouldn't go. Scrubbed it down a little bit more with the wide brush, added another couple of drops of oil on it, still wouldn't move. I ended up using these 2 pipe wrenches, one on this piece here and one on this plate, turned it in opposite directions, and it freed it right up. Now you can see that C-clip or snap ring, whatever you want to call it, is moving around. Before it was rusted as one piece. Now to get this off, here's the tricky part. You could use a pick or a small screwdriver. When I'm working on these starters with small parts like this that could go flying across the room, or in this case across the lawn, or even on the carburetors, I generally do it inside of a box. But I was having a hard time positioning the camera to get the video. So I'm just going to give it my best shot out here. And you can see that this is still a little wet from the oil. Could you see that split? Is the camera picking that up? Okay, just get under it with a screwdriver. You're going to keep your finger and try to pry it. I'm going to get the pick. See what there we go. I'm going to work where this opening is here. There we go, right in that opening. You see this? Oh, that was off camera. See where the slot is? You want to get it right in there is where you want to work. Get the pick in there. Okay, it came up slightly. See how it's raised up a little bit? Now with the screwdriver, just gently pry it, go around and pry it all the way around. You have to, we need this clip so we don't want to lose it. Let's see here. Trying to get this off and keeping it in the camera view. Having a little trouble here. There we go. Oop. Spoke too soon. Watch your fingers. Two screwdrivers will work on this. A screwdriver with a bigger blade, maybe. Let's see. Oh, there we go. We got it. Oh, spoke too soon. That spring tension brought it right back. This has to be difficult because we're videoing it. But we will get it out. Even the dog says so. There we are. We got it now. Okay, I'm going to keep my finger right on it and try to keep it from going across the lawn. There we are. Got it. Right? And this is what's holding it all together. Now, we pull this off. If you should happen to take yours apart, don't forget to put this washer back in. And this washer goes on with the cup side facing up. That's to put some tension on this right here. There's another washer in here too. There's a few washers. So don't lose these. There's spaces. Just gonna clean this extra oil off here. Don't need that on there. Okay, now this is important. There are two sides to this gear. Could you see this bevel? This side has a bevel. This side the gears are cut straight. You want the bevel side up. So when it engages with the flywheel, it has a little slide in there. Okay? That's important to put it in the right way. Put this gear back. Whenever you order knockoff parts, you're always taking a little bit of a gamble. But on something like this, I thought everything be copacetic. And use the right spec number of the engine, the right amount of gears, but it doesn't fit. I thought it was me. This gear does not fit on the Bendix. And I tried several different ways. I even tried it upside down to see if it worked. Nothing. So I'm definitely not sending you the link to this company. I have to send this back, and I have to see if I have one of these floating around off an old starter, or just wait until another one comes in. The grass is growing. This was a couple of weeks ago this came in, but between kitchen sinks and a whole mess of other repairs, just couldn't get to this. No matter what, it just won't fit. I have to wait until I get another gear for this. To be continued. While I was waiting for another gear to arrive, I went out to the boneyard. I pulled this gear off a starter. Why didn't I use the starter that I pulled this off of? The starter was non-functioning. Now this gear is a little beat up. I had to clean it up a little bit, but if it could get me going to cut the grass, I'd be happy. When the new one comes in, I'll just put the new one on. Let's get to installing this gear. Okay. Want to make sure you have the right side up. Okay, spin freely, and you put the spring on. You put this washer on. You see this is concave, this washer. You want to put this with the cup side facing up. This has a couple of washers in there. Put this back on. There's a couple of ways of installing this clip. What I'm going to do today is to use a socket that fits over the shaft. Put the C-clip on, and then just tap it down. That's not working as well as I thought it would. Sometimes I could get them right on. In this particular case, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put a little grease on here just to hold the C-clip in place while I play around with it. Try to keep it from moving around a little. This is just axle grease to hold the C-clip on. Try it again. There we go. Now if you have to push it down, sometimes you might get it part way down and you might have to push it into the groove. Just press down on it. This looks like the clip is a little on the bent side here. Probably from when I was taking it out. Now, this C-clip wasn't that difficult to get off on this starter. but I have an identical starter that I pulled this gear off of, and let me tell you, it gave me a workout to get that clip off. So if you find one and you're having a difficult time with it, just have a little patience. You will get it off. For whatever reason, some are easier to get off than the others. We have this together now to install it onto the tractor. As a safety precaution, I have this battery disconnected. I have to get this cowling off, install the starter, reconnect the power line to it, reconnect the battery, and we'll see if this old gear can hold up to starting the engine. Once I have this all together, I'll be back to show you the engine running. This day is just getting long. Here's an unrelated tip. I wanted to cut the grass once I got this tractor started, so I checked the tires again, and this front tire was low on air. When I went to put air in, I heard psst, and I had this valve stem break off. Now I don't have a valve stem to replace it with, but I do have several tires laying around, and this tire here happened to be the same size, but look at the cracks. A lot of cracks in here, but it's holding air. Plus I put some of that green slime in here. I don't know if it's going to hold, but it should hold long enough for me to cut the grass. Now this tire was flat. I tried with the ratchet straps to seal the bead. It wouldn't work, and I end up using starter fluid and a match. We all know how that goes. Not recommended, but it's what I did. This is off topic. I did see a video where a fella had a tire like this. He poured automatic transmission fluid in the tire and let it sit for a couple of days, and it didn't leak. I don't know if that works or doesn't work, but once I get the stem for this tire, I'm going to try it with this tire here, because these back tires, they're starting to show cracks on the outside, and those tires are expensive. It's kind of sad. I can remember years back, okay, many years back, what I paid for car tires is what I pay for these mower tires. Another tip, this tire had the cap on. This cap was probably on there for about 15 years or better. These are very stiff and hard to get off. Well, if you use a pair of channel locks, it's a good chance you're just going to rip it up and break it. So if you want to be able to put it back on again, rather than tearing it apart, get yourself a heat gun, and it doesn't have to be really hot. You just have to warm it up a little bit, and it gets pliable, and you'll be able to slip it right off with your hand. No tools required other than the heat gun. Again, that's an unrelated tip for what we're doing, but I'm going to clean this axle, grease it, get that wheel on, and then we'll see if the starter is going to work. I have the starter installed, and once I get this all together, we'll see if it's going to work. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Give it a thumbs up, and post your questions and comments down below. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Hit that Joe Z button. And not to miss my new videos as I upload them, be sure to ring that bell. Until next time, stay safe.